What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada, and then with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spreaders? How are you today?
We got at least one Game 7, right? We got at
Yeah.
least one. So that'll be something for us to watch on Sunday. Do you want to just jump right into yesterday's news and talk
Yeah,
about the Dallas Mavericks getting it done for us and
yeah.
absolutely dismantling the Phoenix Suns? What did you see?
Hey, man, I feel like it went exactly as we expected, just like the Memphis and Golden State game. It was just, the Mavs were on fire. They came out motivated. I knew they were really mad about all of the back and forth they were having with the Phoenix players in Phoenix, and they couldn't wait to get back to their home arena and really put a smackdown. And we were able to eat on that game. Me and my clients, we hit the first half, we hit the game, and we also hit the spread on the first half and on the game. So we won 4 ways on that game, and it was really enjoyable. It was a little too fun for me. I think I won a little bit too much, buddy, because my little brother came to town, and we got to drinking some Casamigos, man, and ended up at the club and ended up at Sapphire and getting a section and all this. And little do I know that he's one of these kids that film the entire day. So he has this Fed camera on me all night. And this morning I woke up to a cold shoulder from my wife after she saw the Instagram post that this kid made, because we're so close. He's like family to me. He's been a good friend of mine for a long time. So my wife follows him as well. I'm not even on Instagram. She's on Instagram and she follows him. And man, she showed me the video last night and I said, oh my God. So I had a little bit too much a good time with the Mavericks because that money ended up getting me a little heartache when I got home last night.
Man, it's like D'Angelo Russell syndrome all over again, right? I mean, like, why are we filming everything, guys?
Why
We
are
can
we
actually have
filming
some private
anything?
experiences and just keep it to our memory. And it's so funny. There's an old movie that I really like, the Philadelphia Story. It came out in like 1932, and the woman is completely rich, right? And she's aghast at the idea of the paparazzi covering her wedding. That's the whole crust
Right,
of the thing. She's so
right,
upset that someone's going to um, ruin her private day, her wonderful
right,
day, by putting it in the
right.
news and being in the magazines. And now everybody wants to just have all their business all out everywhere. So it's a
I
different
cannot
time and a different
stand it.
generation, and we're not built for it.
I cannot understand it. And dude, you around here, you're really burning other people, man. If you want to tape yourself, tape yourself. Don't tape the people that are with you. Not everybody wants to be on camera, man. I'm not a little kid out here, looking for props. I'm trying to stay as private and to myself as I am and enjoy myself and have a good time, because a video can make things look a lot like they really aren't, because it's just a video. So when you see a
Right.
video, you see people in the club and they're having a great time, everybody taking shots, and you got all these beautiful women around that look a little, strange to your wife because she wasn't there. So I'm really mad at him. He knows I'm gonna have to owe him a couple gentleman punches today when I see him later.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
hope he
What did you
survives
think
that.
about the game, man? What did you think about the Dallas game, real quick?
I mean, I was so happy about it, right? Because it's so nice to just get a game absolutely right. Once those role players show up, it's a completely different game. And Phoenix is one of those teams that, as much as I love them during the regular season, I'm not sold on them as this postseason juggernaut like everybody else is. So, um, I'm fine going against them. I still favor them in Game 7 right now because I just don't think you're going to get the same performance from the supporting cast from Dallas. And I think Dallas is just 1 year away. And at least in this series, the regular season matters, because I feel like
Yeah.
if Game 7 was in Dallas, I'd be taking Dallas. I haven't placed it yet. I think that Phoenix will probably take some money. I don't know. Maybe it's a close one. I think it's -6 right now. What do you think? Are you leaning towards taking Phoenix? Because before the game, I had predicted that, hey, I'm going to take Dallas in this game, and I'm going to take Phoenix in Game 7 if I'm right. But boy, that was a dominating performance last night. I'm kind of second guessing that strategy here, and that's a good thing, as no one's forcing you to bet. But that was the way I was leaning before the game. What do you think?
Unfortunately, I gotta wait till they announce the referees. You know that's
Oh
sad,
yeah,
but
it's so terrible.
if
But
they
see, there's
send
no
Scott
like
Foster to
shenanigans
Phoenix,
in 7.
if they send Scott Foster to Phoenix,
Oh,
I'm
that's a
taking
good point.
Dallas.
That's a good point. The whole
If they
little
send
beef.
Scott Foster to Phoenix, I'm taking Dallas. I'm telling
Yeah.
you right now.
That's he'll have a day of rest because he's in tonight. So let's jump
Yeah.
into tonight because he's going to be at the center stage once again. And I think I disagree with the NBA doing that. Although
Real
a
quick,
guy
no
to a show.
words on the no, we didn't touch the Sixers game. What did you think? We can keep it go to the ball and parlay, but real fast, what
No,
did you think
no. Let's
about that
touch on the
dominance?
Sixers. Let's touch on the
Yeah,
demise of the
the
Philadelphia
demise of the
76ers.
Sixers.
Boy,
One,
they
two, three,
are in a tough
Cancun.
situation, giving up those 2 draft picks. It's like Ben Simmons at that point. What was he really worth? So it's like whatever on that. But you
Yeah,
did lose 2 draft picks, so you are kind of pot committed to keep Harden. But boy,
right.
at that amount of money for what he's providing, and this is all where value comes into play. It's almost like when we're making these wagers. Yes, Harden's a great NBA player, but is he worth that much? Because that's max money, top 5 guy money. I don't know if he's a top 5 guy anymore. And I
He's
was
not
talking
getting
about my
paid.
buddy. What's up?
He's not getting that max deal.
Well, he can opt in for over 40 million just on a 1-year deal.
They're gonna have to cut him or trade him or something. What can they do to get out of it? How do they?
They'd have to trade him if he opts in. But
Yeah,
they
they're gonna
already
trade
gave
him.
up those 2 first-round picks to get off the Simmons contract. So um,
They're
it's
gonna
going to be
trade
an
him.
interesting situation. I think they might have to run it back one more year. You got to remember, Daryl Morey loves that guy.
Yeah, he might go in there and tell him, Daryl, I was hurt. I'm gonna go get it together in the off season, come back better than ever.
Yeah, and it
He
might be
might go
better than
tell
your
him
other
that.
options. Like who's going to trade for him and give you like an asset that's really there? I think the idea is he can bounce back better. I just don't expect it. I was talking to my buddy about it this morning. When I was a kid, none of these point guards were good after 30.
Right.
I mean, Kevin Johnson was so great. Gary Payton was so great, right? The only one I was thinking of was John Stockton, right? And he reminds me of Chris Paul, where he's a little fundamental dude, where he
Yeah,
was
he's a
never
little
that athletic.
fundamental guy.
He was athletic, right? Obviously, you can't make the NBA without being athletic, but he never relied on athleticism.
No, no.
So I'm just not, when I see these guys like Westbrook and Harden fall off a cliff, it's like it's always been like that in the NBA. You don't want a point guard and you don't want a cornerback that's over 30. Those are just the 2 positions that are
Or
so
even a
reliant.
wing. Or even
Yeah.
a wing player as well, because that's really
Yeah.
hard work. Harden's a glorified wing. He just is playing
Yeah.
point guard now for them. He's always been a 2 guard in my mind forever. And that's what he
Right.
played
Right. Right.
pretty much in Houston.
Yeah.
So
Unless you have that post up game, like an Al Horford or the big man game, it just doesn't translate after 30. It's just hard to keep up with the lateral quickness. And the amount of athleticism in this league, you got guys like Anthony Edwards and John Morant running around.
yeah.
I mean, if you're not at the top, it's a tough ass. So
And they
I'll
have
be
somebody, they got somebody 16 years old right now in the gym getting ready to make them look dumb in about 10 years as well. You know how it goes.
yeah.
It's just the natural evolution of things, how things go, man. It's just you get older, time moves on. It's always the next guy that's coming. My main take from that game was Miami's defense. Ski made a great point yesterday. Remember he said about Jimmy Butler, said that to the media about they need to play defense and everything else will take care of itself. They
It's
listened
true.
to him in that locker room
Yeah.
when he said that. Their
Mm-hmm.
defense was outstanding last night, man. The Sixers couldn't do anything in the third quarter. It looked like it was going to be a game at halftime. Just looked like, a little grudge match of, defense, 2 top defensive teams. You got to fight for baskets, real playoff basketball, but they really put the clamps down. Jimmy Butler separated himself as clearly the best player in that series, man. Clearly. Embiid, I didn't factor in the fact that Embiid is so hurt, he's ready to go home for the
Hey,
offseason.
that's what I
You said
said.
yeah,
I got that
you
one
said
right.
it. You said it. You
I
told me
said
that.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he's running around with a broken face. Like his
Yeah,
face
he's
is
ready to
broken.
go home. He want to go
So
home and heal and chill, man, because you got to give it to him. He left it all out on the court this season. He gave
he
his all. And
did.
did you hear what Jimmy Butler said about him? Jimmy Butler said that he really enjoyed playing with Embiid and he thought he was a great dude and he wished they would have been able to play together long. He respects the type of work he puts in. And then
Yeah.
Embiid said about him, he wish he would have got a chance to play with Butler longer. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know why we got rid of him. I wish I would have
They
got a chance to
messed
go to
that up.
war with that guy. That's
They
the
messed
guy
that up.
that they're missing right now for the
Yeah.
Sixers. And it's
They
crazy.
messed
They
it
had
up.
him right there for a good price and everything, right in town.
They
And
should got rid of
what
Tobias. They
happened?
should
Why
have
did they
got
let him go? Was it Ben Simmons? Him and Ben Simmons were getting into it, right?
yeah, because Ben Simmons didn't like him being on the ball so much, so they chose Ben. It was a mistake.
One of the worst mistakes that they could have ever made. And
Yeah,
that's how we just speaking about maybe a couple years ago, because I was just saying like Butler has definitely he's looking a lot better this year. You could tell he's that resting during the season and pacing him, and he also obviously put in a lot of work with his body in the offseason because he looks refreshed and rejuvenated. So if
yeah.
there's a chance that maybe Harden goes and get yourself back together again and then earns that money that he's going to get paid next year. But since he got the play option, shoot, it's all in his ball court. Unless they trade him, he's getting paid then. So it's nowhere around unless they trade him. I'm hearing a lot of Twitter talk, from the John 1 3 4 5 8 9 that that he's going to LA, that they're gonna trade him to the Lakers, and he's going back home to LA to be a Laker, and they're gonna take the contract. So we'll see how that goes. Probably just some fans just wishing on a
Just
star.
wishing because he's still better than Westbrook.
Exactly. So yeah, that was a dominant performance by the Heat. I'll be very interested to see how they match up with the game that we're about to talk about now in the ball and parlay, the one out the Bucks and Celtics series. We got a closeout game for the Bucks tonight if they can get it done. You know me, man. I've been riding with the Celtics now ever since they got rid of the Nets in the manner that they did. I saw something that I liked in that team. Made me go check out a lot of the tape during the year. And I saw that they've been the best team since 2022, man. And I don't think that the Celtics lose tonight, man. I like the Celtics first half, and I like the Celtics for the game. I feel like they're going to win from tip to finish because of the last game. They had complete control of that game, and they allowed the Bucks to, steal that one in Boston. I think they're going to be highly motivated tonight. I think that they know that they're the better team, and all they have to do is just execute. um, I see this going game 7, even though it's a very tall task for Boston to go to Milwaukee and win. That +1.5 is telling me that the books really believe that the Celtics are going to win as well, because you think with the Bucks being at home in a closeout game, that'd be like -5 as the Celtics were at home, right? But the books will tell you this is going to be a tight one. I think they're trying to bag people to take the Bucks -1.5. It looks like such a layup with them being at home and having the best player in the world. But the Celtics they're a great team, man, and they got a great coach, and I think they're going to respond tonight. What's your opinion on that game?
Yeah, we're on opposite sides, but I don't like the Bucks as much as I like my next play that we'll get into.
Mm-hmm.
But just my counterpoints there would be that everyone points to the Celtics' great regular season run, but a lot of times when we point to these NBA games, we say that playoffs are a whole different. It's a whole different season, a whole different style of basketball. So the Bucks have proved they can get to me done at the postseason and not. And then the other thing, just to always default, right? If I expect it's going to be a close game, and we do both expect to see a close game, this has by far been the best series from an entertainment standpoint. You don't have just every home team winning. You don't have a bunch of blowouts. Every game's been hard fought, right? The first couple were a little bit margin of victories, but they were still so interesting in all the matchups and everything. But boy, it's really nice to have the best player on the floor when you know there's going to be a close game. So but you've been the Celtics and I've been the Bucks this whole series. So we're not always going to agree on everything. Hopefully, you're going to agree with me on my play tonight because I like the Warriors to get it done, and I love the fact that there's going to be an overreaction off the bad performance. But as we saw, like with the Mavericks, right? It doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
matter. The game starts 0-0. It doesn't matter that you won game 5 by 30 points. You don't start
No,
29-0. It's 0-0
no,
every single game. And those Warriors, out of all these teams, they don't care. And they understand there's no difference between losing 15 and 35, right?
right.
So it was like, yeah, their players kind of shut down early, right? Which you could say would be disappointing if they didn't have the resume that they do, right? For a young team, you would be worried, hey, that's bad that they quit. For this team, I'm not so worried about it either. And everyone's been making a lot of it, but the Bucks had a 39-point loss last season and they won the championship. So one bad game does not
Yeah,
end a series. This is not the NCAA tournament, right? This isn't one and done where you have to be on point 7 games in a row or you are done. You can absorb these style losses, and I think that they're able to do it. And you talked about it before, and it's kind of the reason why this team isn't as popular these kids are front. I mean, they're not kids anymore. They're in their 30s. The Warriors are front runners, though, right? When they get that 15-point lead, the
Yeah,
arena's rocking, right? They're a completely different team. And of course they do know how to fight with adversity because, and you and I both remember the best bet in sports, 2016 to 2018 was the Warriors third quarter. The only time I've ever had a
yeah,
captcha on five dimes and bookmaker was when I'm logging into Warriors halftime to bet their third quarter, right? Because it was
yeah,
just such an easy bet, and it would move 2 to 3 points like in the 15
yeah.
minutes it was up. So I'm not saying that they can't come from behind, but they're front runners, and once they get ahead, they'll pile it on. As bad as I don't know. Okay, I shouldn't say that, but I think the Memphis have another one coming tonight. I think that the revenge will be served. They're not going back to Memphis. I'm taking the Warriors -8.
Okay, my pushback on that game is Mike Brown, your future coach of the
Oh,
Sacramento Kings.
yeah.
I'd be a little worried about him uh, with the whiteboard in his hand for this
Mm-hmm.
game. Expect a real hard push from Memphis early,
Yeah.
and if the Warriors are able to stay close in the game and stay attached in, like you said, the third quarter, hopefully they'll be able to, for your sake, go ahead and make that push. But this game right here is tough for me, man. I got a lot of respect for what Taylor Jenkins does over there for Memphis, man, and I just feel like he might outcoach Mike Brown, man. That's the only thing I worry about with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr was there, I wouldn't have any problem with this number. Mike
Yep.
Brown, man.
And
Mike
that's a
Brown. You
great
saw the
point.
last
So
game at home, how much they won by when he was there.
yeah,
Like they didn't lead the game until the final minute. And that's
yeah,
because Curry and those guys decided to just make it happen. But his strategies and the things that he's employing isn't looking too good. And they're also really missing Gary Payton
they are.
Jr. Yeah, they're missing him, man.
Yeah,
He was a real factor in that first series, and they're missing. He was a great matchup with the young energy that comes off the bench with Memphis. So that's they're having to play Kaminga a lot more than they really want to. He's
exactly.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're having to play him a lot more. So I'll be very interested. Me and Spread both on kind of opposite sides on the
Yeah.
case without today, man.
But
But
we each gave out our favorite, right?
we each
Even
gave
though
out
we
our favorite. Yeah,
disagreed, I told you before we started, if I could only make one bet today, I wouldn't bet the Bucks. I would bet the Warriors. And I
yeah. And
think
I'd
you
make
feel
if
the
I could
same
make
way.
one bet today, it's the Celtics. Yeah,
So we each
exactly.
gave
Yeah.
out our
So
favorte. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we're giving you both sides here, fair and
Yeah,
balanced.
we
Yeah.
got to do that, man. We're gonna keep it real on this show. That's what we're gonna
Yeah.
do. We're gonna be honest. We're not on here, doing the things like they do. Hey, you get paid to argue this side, I get paid to
Yeah.
argue. No, we're just gonna tell you what we honestly believe, man. We had another winning week. We're gonna close it out today. Hopefully, we go 2-0 and close out the week right, man. We hope you guys enjoyed this week. We'll be back to see you guys again next week. Best of luck to you all.